Welcome to another story made by Oracle 1. In the kingdom of Eldrin, where rolling emerald hills kissed the skies and rivers sang their ancient songs, there whispered a secret so profound that it clawed at the edges of sanity and belief. A monster, or so it was said, that none had laid eyes upon. It was a shadow in legends, a fear tangled between superstition and truth, an entity so elusive that its very existence was debated in hushed tones beneath flickering candlelight. Amidst this veil of uncertainty, the figure arrived, a knight unlike any who had ever set foot in Eldrin. Clad in armor black as the deepest void, the knight's visage was utterly blank. No eyes to pierce the horizon, no mouth to utter a challenge or plea. Instead, a smooth, gleaming surface where a face should be, as if the very essence of identity had been swallowed whole. Townsfolk whispered of the Hollow Knight, a name that seemed both a curse and a promise, carried on the wind with dread and curiosity alike. The morning the Hollow Knight rode into Eldrin, the sun rose with a hesitant glow, as if unsure whether to illuminate the impossible or let darkness claim the land once more. The knight's steed was a pale creature, almost ethereal, with mane and tail flowing like tendrils of mist. Where the knight passed, the air shifted, cold whispers of the unknown threading through the bustling market squares and cobblestone lanes. The monster everyone feared, the one whose shadow haunted dreams and whose voice was never heard, had long plagued Eldrin's nights. Crops withered mysteriously, wells ran dry without reason, and travelers journeying near the borderlands vanished, leaving behind nothing but shattered hopes and an unsettling silence. The elders spoke of a beast called the Dreadweaver, a creature born from nightmares, its form ever changing, slipping through the grasp of reality, feeding on fear and despair. Yet no man or woman had ever seen the Dreadweaver directly. They only glimpsed the aftermath, the burned forests, the shattered villages, the screams carried away on the wind. And now, at the height of Eldrin's desperation, the Hollow Knight had come, a figure as enigmatic as the monster itself, ready to hunt what could not be hunted. But there was more to this knight than mere arrival. No words escaped him in the waking world. No voice, no commands, no greetings. His only communication came through the most uncanny manner, dreams. Every night, his presence seeped into the minds of the chosen, the king, the blacksmith's daughter, the weary shepherd, the crippled old man, and in those dreams, the knight spoke. His voice was like the rustling of dead leaves and the flicker of distant firelight, calm yet chilling, guiding and forewarning. In the king's dream, the Hollow Knight appeared atop a gallant hill, the sky splintered with scarlet lightning. The Dreadweaver hides in the fractures of belief, he intoned, where shadows weave falsehoods and truths entwine with dread. Seek the fracture, seal it, and the monster will falter. The king awoke with a start, his heart pounding, the vague riddles sinking deep into his mind. Across Eldrin, the dreams came, whispered warnings and cryptic clues. To some, the night offered solace, to others, unnerving riddles. Among those visited was Lysandra, the blacksmith's daughter. In life, she was practical, grounded by the sweat and clangor of iron and flame. Yet in the dream, the night showed her a vision of the old forest beyond the western ridge, where the trees writhed unnaturally, their bark in human shapes twisted in torment. To fight a monster unseen, he said in that dry, ethereal murmur, one must embrace the unseen within. Lysandra woke, gripping her hammer tightly. She was compelled to journey into the wild forest, an act no villager dared venture. The forest was dense and dark, shadows stretching like sinister fingers between trunks. As she walked, whispers curled through the leaves, naming fears she never voiced aloud. She was afraid, yet felt somehow invited, almost welcomed, into the bowels of this living nightmare. There, in a glade bathed in a surreal, silver light that seemed neither daylight nor moonlight. She beheld the fracture the night had spoken of. A tear in the very fabric of the world. A swirling rift that pulsed and shimmered, casting doubt upon the reality around her. It was the source of the distortion in Eldrin's air, the origin of the Dreadweaver's insidious influence. From it leaked the raw essence of fear and despair that gave the monster its ghastly form. As Lysandra approached, a voice wove into her mind, eerily calm and yet desperate. Hold the fracture, close the wound, stem the poison spilling unseen. Then, the hollow night appeared beside her, silence enveloping them like a mist, the blank visage strangely comforting. He raised a hand, and with it, a blade shimmered into existence, forged of starlight caught in steel. Together, they pressed into the rift, Lysandra striking with all the strength born of humanity's will, the hollow night's blade cleaving the shadows as if slicing through the fabric of nightmares themselves. But the Dreadweaver was no mere beast. It prowled the rift, a shifting horror of eyes and tendrils, a creature born of belief and disbelief, of light and shadow intertwined. It spoke without words, its presence overwhelming nearby trees until they groaned in agony. You cannot slay what is born of essence, a voice echoed inside Lysandra's mind, immense, ancient, impossible to grasp fully. Only by belief can you unmake me. The hollow night's form trembled, the smooth facade flickering briefly with 1,000 ghostly faces. Memories of those who had failed before, souls claimed by the monster's whispers. The night reached out, touching Lysandra's shoulder, and imparted one final message through the dream world. The power to defeat the Dreadweaver lies in unity and faith. Where hope exists, the shadow dissipates. Lysandra grasped the blade and stepped back, the fractured rift crying out like a living thing, bleeding darkness. She closed her eyes and summoned every shred of light she could muster. The memory of laughter, the warmth of sun on her skin, the strength of community. Until the shadow's soul recoiled from the surge of belief. The rift began to seal, stitches of silver threading the tear closed. The Dreadweaver shrieked, its essence fracturing into endless fragments, dissipating like smoke under a morning breeze. When the last threads wound tight, harmony returned to the forest. Trees straightened. The world seemed sturdier, safer. Yet the hollow night was gone, leaving no trace but the lingering sense of something beyond mortal understanding. He had become the stuff of dreams once more, a guardian of the unseen, protector of the realm between sight and shadow. Back in Eldrin, Lysandra returned a changed woman. She told of visions and dreams, of battles waged in the abyss of belief. The people, moved by her courage, grew bolder. Their confidence rekindled like a dying ember brought back to flame. King Eldrin decreed a day of remembrance, a tribute to the faceless knight who spoke only in dreams and fought what none could see. Statues rose, bare and smooth, faces left blank by conscious choice, symbols of the unknown battles fought beyond human sight, beyond mortal speech. The hollow knight's legend endured, whispered to children at night, woven into tales of courage not in the sword's sharpness but in the strength of unity and hope. For in Eldrin, it was understood that some monsters can only be fought by facing the shadows within, by believing in the unseen light. For more stories, like and subscribe.